Thanks for joining us. This is the AM News. Details now. The minority in Parliament is demanding an immediate summons of the Electoral Commission to answer questions on challenges rising from the ongoing registration exercise. Their call comes at the back of recent disturbances at various registration centres across the country during the limited voter registration exercise. Just last Friday, the police arrested NDC parliamentary candidate for Ewutu Senya constituency, Phyllis Na Korio Okuno, at the Vote Transfer Centre over alleged possession of arms. In his address on the floor of Parliament on Tuesday, Speaker Alban Bagbin said the issues must be resolved immediately.
We will include the President, the Council of State, the National Security Council, flag bearers, and national executives of various political parties. The security service, particularly the police, and I emphasize, particularly the police. We don't want to see military during election. When there is a need to call them, they will be called. But they should not be at polling or voting centers. Honorable members, the clergy and notable civil society leaders will be actively involved. The signs and signals of happenings in the country are not that of assurance and hope. I shudder when I'm told that people going to write their names carry knives, guns, just to go and write names. What about when we are going to vote? And at the end of it all, the results are announced, and somebody else has carried the day, and not the other. I shudder to picture what will happen.
But Minority Leader Dr. Kasel Atuforsen says the EC must be dragged to Parliament to answer questions for themselves.
These developments, Mr. Speaker, are unhealthy for our electoral process and democracy and go a long way to ground the public perception of bias on the part of this particular electoral commission. Mr. Speaker, why must this electoral commission always take questionable decisions which create chaos and confusion across the country? Why must this electoral commission always threaten the peace and stability of our dear democracy? Speaker, I may ask again, why must it take massive pushback from the public and backlash from the electoral commission to always do what is right for the people of Ghana? Speaker, whilst we acknowledge the electoral commission is an independent body, it must be pointed out in no uncertain terms to the Electoral Commission that it does not have the independence to make dangerous, ridiculous, and outrageous decisions that can affect the peace and stability of our country and its democracy. It is therefore imperative for Parliament to call the Electoral Commission to order and to save the democracy that we have always protected. Mr. Speaker, the NDC Minority Caucus want to use this forum to demand an urgent committee of the whole meeting with the Electoral Commission and to iron out these concerns before, Mr. Speaker, it is too late.
In other stories, the founder and leader of the Movements for Change, Alan Kojo Kyerematen, has called for change at the December polls. He said the former president, John Dramani Mahama, has had his term and has exhibited all he can do, just like the vice president, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who has had 8 years to also exhibit his capabilities. Mr. Kyerematen said this time, the time has come for a leader with an agenda to transform the lives of the people.
The former trade minister and founder of the Movement for Change, Alan Kojo Kyerematen, was in the northern region on a one-day tour of the area. He met with the clergy, the Muslim clerics, chiefs, and some traders. Speaking at the Abu Abu market, Mr. Kyerematen said The two candidates of the major political parties have had their turns, calling on Ghanaians to vote for the movement for change.
Former President Mahama Obejire Binyasa, Wabaya President Dada, the Obejire Nina Obeye, Anamibwa. Mini Aketwa, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, if you were Junior, Anna Baba, or your Vice President, the Obejire Yamagana for Nina, Mahmoud Obejire. So said the Ghana for Kanyani said.
The United Front Party leader, Akwesi Adai Odike, who was part of the entourage, said the government, instead of buying tractors for farming in the area, has rather used resources to buy land cruisers.
Ghana, you pay for the Jessica, Echo to land cruiser. He says so many about tractors. I'm not Preguma, I can show what Tamale. Now to me, at the play, a front chair, I visit Tamale Airport. Nabayina, more Yato, at Yako, a boatre, near the door, I have a ship home. Now, so many bag of fire panel. Woman, so many mamma. Say a bit to go home. Oh, my phone. No man, sure, at your good number, so I think you know, so many mamma. And so one on Grano. Mamma, Yabaya. We might go to tomorrow. I'm not confused. Now, tell me, I said the ground one mama.
Earlier, the entourage met with the clergy where Mr. Tremantin said Ghana needs a plan that will transform the lives of the people.
If you listen very carefully to the majority of Ghanaians, they believe that Ghana needs a plan that will not just bring change, but to bring transformation in our lives. We've now entered into the political season, and it is amazing how politicians are going around making the same promises that they made, which catapulted them into power. But unfortunately, those promises, many of them have not been fulfilled.
A member of the Revolutionary Alliance, Rosalind Ayana, said what the country needs now is a leader with a trade mindset to change the fortunes of the country.
As I drive through Tamale, I see all the greens, all the patchy areas, and I ask myself, in Accra, one tomato is 5 cedis. Does it make sense? It doesn't make sense. And I ask myself, why? Burkina Faso is more of a desert than Tamale. But they are producing tomatoes and onions for our consumption, and we are ashamed of ourselves. So we need someone who has got the trade mindset. And Honorable Alan Tremantin had the trade mindset. You look at Aqua, you look at all the other things, Everything, all those things that he was able to introduce into this country. This is the time for us to give him an opportunity to move us 1 step or 2 steps forward so that we can at least regain our place as Ghanaians. There was a time.
Away from that, Roads and Highways Minister Francis Asensio-Boakye has disclosed 2 ways that the much talked about deplorable Wa Bole Bamboi Road will be fixed. He said a 2-way strategy will involve first fixing the bad portions of the road, mostly riddled with potholes and manholes. and later putting an asphalt overlay to make it a first-class road. Now, speaking in Wa at the start of his tour of the 5 northern regions, where he paid a courtesy call on the Wala overlord, Nafusei Niseidu Pelpio IV, he reassured him of the commitment of the president to fix the road and to make it as part of a parting gift to the people of the Upper West region. Join News Upper West regional correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Kambaha.
Immediately he stepped into the living room of the over-century-year-old Wanas Palace, Francis Asensio Boakye, to start his official tour of the 5 northern regions. He was welcomed with a traditional kola, which he chewed with perfection.
And
he was accompanied to the palace by Finance Minister Amin Adam Anta, who first had a taste of the bitter kola, and for Asensio Boakye to probably learn the rudiments of the tradition of his distant kinsmen from him. The excitement and laughter simmered down and paved way for the Wala overlord, Nafusei Niseidu Pelpio IV, for his umpteenth time to open up on his most pressing need, the Bole Bomboy Road, an albatross that hung on the necks of all governments.
the deplorable nature of the road makes traveling on it a nightmare in the true sense of the word. A journey from Wa to Kumasi that should ordinarily take a maximum of 6 hours now takes a minimum of 15 hours. The frequent breakdowns on the road of almost all vehicles traveling on it are as a result of the bad route. This has raised the cost of maintenance to both private and public sector transport operators astronomically. This has a direct effect on the lorry fares charged by operators of commercial vehicles. Our farmers incur incalculable losses in transporting their produce, especially perishables.
Francis Asensio Boakye's response was simple and straightforward. He came on a Fiat laced beneath his long-checkered sleeves with a rehashing and unwavering commitment of the President of the Republic to fix the deplorable debt-trapped Bole Bomboy Road before the end of his reign. The road minister conceded that the road has been on the budget of all finance ministers since the days of yore.
I'm actually very surprised because as a young boy, listening to budget statement, budget speeches in Parliament, even Kwesi Boatweh used to talk about Bole Bomboy. Or the subsequent finance ministers today. That tells us that it is very important. The president indeed pledged that will be his parting gift for Wana and the good people of the Upper West region.
He disclosed 2 ways the road will be fixed.
The first strategy is to face the bad sections of the road. Then once that is done, then we put an asphalt overlay on the road. And when that is done, it will become a first-class road that will provide solve a lot of problems that this bad road is creating in the region.
The Roads and Highways Minister then rolled out of the Wa Township and inspected ongoing construction works at the Kambaha Bridge and the upgrading of roads in the Nondon municipality.
Now, still on the Roads and Highways, Minister Francis Asensio Boakye has disclosed that his outfit will deploy an online grievance and complaints lodging system to ensure continuous citizen engagement, speaking at the commissioning of a 670-kilometer EU-funded €35 million project at Dafiama. He stated that it is already the pilot stage and will be rolled out for the rest of the country. Join News Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Dafiama.
Government in May 2021 broke the grounds for work to begin on the rehabilitation and maintenance of feeder and farm access roads at Pongu in the Wa municipality of the Upper West region. The 670 kilometers road project, which covered 8 municipal and districts in the region, were awarded to 3 local contractors and under the European Union Ghana Agricultural Programme (EU-GAP). The €35 billion grant from the European Union aims at improving interconnectivity between areas of production and market centers. After 2 years of working on the roads, they are now completed. Roads and Highways Minister Francis Asanso-Boakye, in a speech before he commissioned the projects at a colorful ceremony at Dafiema in the Dafiema-Bure Isa district, enumerated the expected benefits the people will derive from the completion of the projects.
The EU's intervention aims to promote sustainable agriculture, improve livelihoods, and generate economic growth, as well as create stable employment, and also protect resources from climate change and enhance food security. We have made significant progress with 650 kilometers. That's about 98% of the roads completed, resulting in 55% reduction in total travel time. This achievement is a testament to the dedication and hard work of all stakeholders involved.
In addition to the road projects, are the construction of 16 community health planning services, CHIPS compounds, and solar-powered boreholes. Ministry of Roads and Highways to deploy nationwide an online grievance and compliance logging system to ensure continuous citizen engagement.
As part of this project, ladies and gentlemen, the Ministry of Roads and Highways has also developed an online grievance and compliance logging system to ensure continuous citizen engagement. This system will be deployed nationwide to improve public interaction and feedback on road projects.
European Union Ambassador to Ghana, Aisha Razali, noted that with the commissioning of the project, it will open up new opportunities for the people, diminish the cost of transport, and halve the traveling time.
It will thus increase the trade of agricultural products and goods and raise, which is of utmost importance, the incomes of the farmer communities. I would like to mention that this intervention also empowering the government of Ghana with innovative planning, execution, and maintenance of the transport investment. Back in 2019, as we have started, it was the first time that the Ministry of Road and Highways adopted the so-called output and performance-based road contracting model. And I've been demonstrated that this design, build, maintain approach is very powerful.
The launch of the EU feeder and farm access projects in the Upper West region a couple of years ago brought along some social tensions in some parts of the region, especially the Sisala Enclave, the area considered to be the food basket of the region and, more importantly, arguably the leading producers of maize in the country, was strangely cut off from the beneficiary districts. There were a series of protests and demonstrations from the chiefs and people of the area. Minister of Finance Amin Adam Anta used the opportunity to appeal to the European Union to provide additional funding for the entire region to benefit from the project.
I have asked the head of the European Union in Ghana to consider expanding this support, particularly to cover the remaining districts of the Upper West region. This is important for us because the EU is a strategic partner to Ghana. And I hope and I'm confident that Ambassador Irshad and the EU will understand, they will appreciate the strategic importance of a region-wide development.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam, Dafiema.
Welcome to the business updates for this Wednesday morning. And in our first story, Researchers have cited the lack of credit opportunities and effective targeting as some downsides of government's flagship programs. At a workshop organized by the Third World Network to assess the impact of two of such flagship programs of government, Planting for Food and Jobs and the One District, One Factory project, lead researcher for the project, Dr. Faustina Obeng, highlighted the lack of targeted credit support as a major challenge to the two initiatives. There is more in this report.
In 2017, government launched two flagship programs, One District, One Factory, and Planting for Food and Jobs to revive Ghana's domestic manufacturing and agriculture sectors. On Planting for Food and Jobs, the report highlighted the poor credit management system and the lack of available markets for produce. The report, which was commissioned by the Third World Network, was on the impact of government's flagship programs in the southern sector. Dr. Faustina Obeng is the research lead for the project.
Although there is a general reach of farmers, because over the years the cost of the inputs of the PFJ increased, we saw that many small-scale farmers who could not access their inputs without some credits could no longer use the package. The package is an improved seeds with a fertilizer, but also with extension support. For many of these improved seeds, they are heavily dependent on fertilizers because they suck a lot of nutrients. And so without being able to afford the fertilizer, even if you afforded the seeds, your productivity would not likely increase. We all see what the slight increase in import bills meant for fertilizers within the PFJ. So we need to have a long-term plan, improving productivity with locally available materials and only supplementing it with a slight fertilizer or mineral fertilization that we can afford.
On the One District, One Factory initiative, Dr. Obeng cited the lack of funding and constant supply of raw materials as a major challenge.
The level of the loan to be able to put up a whole factory, keep the factory running, was the challenge. For some of the factories that are still running, it's because the owners or the management of the factories are injecting additional private funds into the factory. Then the other thing is we assume that raw materials would not be a challenge. Some of the factories are lucky, raw materials is not a challenge per se, but quite a number of the factories are also struggling to access raw materials because it turns out that we don't have an overproduction of crops that would feed into raw material.
Coordinator of the Third World Network, Dr. Yao Graham, details the rationale of the report.
So we saw the initiative as positive, but we also knew how challenging those initiatives are because it's been tried before, but we are still here for these two initiatives to be tried again. And our hope in launching this research was the big picture objective was to find out how the issue of structural economic transformation informed the design of the two projects. The two projects, do they have a coherence? Are they coordinated in terms of how they are supposed to link up?
And that's it for the business update, and it's a wrap as well for the news this morning. But stay with us. Up next, we have the news review. Do stay.
After a decade of failed attempt, Accra Girls Senior High School will for the first time be on the national stage of the 2024 National Science and Maths Quiz. They had to topple Ganata, Ada SHS, and English Amanfro SHS. There was, however, a close shave win for the Tema Methodist Senior High School, who beat one of their competitors, Frafraha Community Senior High, with just a point. They could not hide their joy after the competition.
Great Medas! We are great, the most fruitful every time. Great Medas! We are great! Honestly speaking, that, like he said, we are here to win. And there we have it. We are here to win. Exactly. And so with the victory that we've gotten from this contest, we hope to correct on our mistakes, and then coming into the contest, that's the national championship, will deliver more and then more than this. I'm so much excited. I can't even express my feelings. Okay, so I want to tell the school out there that should prepare for us. So we are coming like a lion to come and.
can you show schools like Presec, St. Louis, or what? Can you show?
Oh, what? Presec, watch out.
God is in control of everything.
When the cat is not in the house, that's when the mouse fool around. So when the cat is back, the mouse know where to hide. So we are going.
Conceding defeat, students of Frafraha SHS say they are proud of their accomplishment but are hopeful of putting up a strong showing next season.
First of all, we give glory to God for bringing us this far. And then secondly, we like to thank our trainer for everything he put into the team and then even though we didn't win, but it's a 1 point difference, and then the challenge was kind of tough, but we were able to do our best. Yeah, that's what I can say.
So going forward, do you think you can do better than this next year?
Yes, we can do better than this.
Ashaman Senior High School won the last contest with a 20-point gap against O'Reilly Senior High.
So right now, I'm not in myself. I don't know what to say right now.
Contest was for us. We knew it was for us from the beginning to the end. Everything. We knew it was for us.
Do you think you can beat these other big schools in the national?
Who beat them? No challenge. Who beat them?
And do you think you can emerge as regional champions as well?
We will. Simple for us.
100%.
It's like bread and butter. Bread and butter for us.
Today's win is massive. And that is all we have prayed to God to give us. Last year, we came to stage a campaign, Ashaman for God's glory. And today, we are here with the same message, Ashaman for God's glory.
All three qualifiers are optimistic and believe so strongly that they are not only going to win the regional championship, but the national championship as well. Well, we live to see that from the Chimota school here in Accra, Adobe Asare.